What's good, folks? It's great to be with you here today. So glad to be able to do this with you. It is really a privilege. I would just like to share a few thoughts with you from the Bible. Just some things that I've been thinking about. Just some encouragement I wanted to share with you. And hopefully, it will lift your spirits a bit, help you to ponder and think about a question that I've been asking myself a lot lately. And so let's dive in. We're going to look at Matthew chapter 7 and think about the question, who are you trusting? So Matthew chapter 7, breaking in verse 7, Jesus says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be open. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him?" I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about it for a while now. And my question is why would Jesus reiterate these thoughts, really what he had just said in Matthew chapter 6, just a chapter earlier, which is really part of the same message, where he has just explained that he is the same God who provides for the sparrows, provides for the birds, and that if he can provide for the birds, that we don't have to worry about anything, that as his children, he takes care of our food, our clothes, our money, literally everything. So why is he saying again, just a few paragraphs later, this same idea really, that he can provide? And I think it's that so often we as Christians, we say we're trusting God. We say we have our hope in him. But when we really look at our hearts, when we look at our lives, it's easy to see that we're actually trusting ourselves. And it's a challenge because it's something that we see that affects the church. Maybe we see it within our family. But my challenge to you, as you would kind of evaluate your own heart, is to ask yourself this question. And that question is, who are you trusting? During this difficult time, especially during this pandemic we're facing, it's easy to say now that we're trusting God. But what about when everything was good? Before the pandemic hit. Who were you trusting then? Who were you saying you were trusting then? I think so often we're like Peter, who in Matthew 14, just a few chapters over, asked Jesus to walk out on the waves. But when he saw the storm around him, he quickly realized that though he was in a sense trusting Jesus, he was really trusting himself. And then he started to sink. And, when we lose sight of God, when we're only focused on ourselves, it's easy to do that, to be overcome by our fear, by our anxiety, by whatever it is that's troubling us, because we're trying to do it on our own strength. We're not relying on God's strength. And so Jesus says, look, you're my children. I am your Father. If you as earthly parents, now obviously, I'm assuming many of you are not parents yet, but rather youth, but you know that your parents provide for you, maybe in a perfect manner, but I'm guessing likely an imperfect manner. But we know that God has promised to provide for us in a perfect manner. Now, it's going to require a bit of work. Jesus says right at the beginning, he says, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. So it's going to require some work on our part. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. It is better to trust God than to trust ourselves. And we see here in verse 11 That Jesus is saying, look, if you trust me, I will provide. I will give you good things. Why? Because I'm your Father, because I care about you, because I love you, and because you are my child. So as you continue to navigate through really this difficult time, I hope you'll just think about this and consider, who are you trusting? Are you trusting yourself? Or are you trusting God? Because when the storm hits, if you're trusting yourself, you're going to look at the waves. You're going to start to sink. But if you look at God, if you're trusting in Him, then when the storm hits, you'll be able to stand firm. So hopefully that was encouraging for you, that you'll continue to think about this in the coming days. Who are you trusting? Who are you going to trust? If you're trusting yourself, what are you going to change so that you can trust God more? Take care, friends. God bless. Until next time.